Here I'm applying moisturizer, but I'm going to mix it with our Bliss Shimmer Pigment. And you can use pretty much any moisturizer, but put it on with the shimmer pigment and it just gives a really beautiful glow to the skin. Next, I'm applying our P2 Picture Perfect foundation with our concealer brush, and I'm using this as my eyeshadow base just to create a smooth base for the eye. Next, using Queen Shimmer Pigment on my mini shadow brush, I'm going towards the inner corner of the eye, but bringing it out kind of towards the iris as well. Next, I'm going in with medium contour, which is actually a blush, but I'm using that as my crease color with my crease brush. Just sweeping that back and forth like a windshield wiper motion. Next, I'm using vanilla eyeshadow with my mini shadow brush below the brow. And then Eris Shimmer Pigment I'm going to use with our large shadow brush and just place that right above the iris, just kind of pat it on. Chocolate Cake eyeshadow I'm using to smoke out underneath, and I'm applying that with our smudge brush in kind of a pencil eraser type motion, just bringing it back and forth. And then we're going to go in and line the eye with espresso. So I'm actually not using any blacks on this look. I want to keep everything very chocolatey and warm. So we're lining the eye with espresso eyeshadow with my liner brow brush. And I'm just applying that with little dashes. For my foundation, I'm using a shade called Y8. I did have a little bit of a spray tan with this look, so I'm going in with a darker shade to match my skin tone. I always apply that with our sheer foundation brush. And then next, once it's covering the whole face, I'll go back in with my regular foundation brush and just kind of spot check any areas that need a little more coverage. Usually where any blemishes are, sometimes around the nose, you'll get little spider veins. To highlight areas, I'm using our Picture Perfect foundation in the shade P2, applying that with my concealer brush so I get a little more precision there. I can use that to shape my nose and make my cheekbones stand out, and also to get rid of any under eye circles. And I'm just applying it with a patting motion. A tiny bit goes a very, very long way. I also will apply it to my upper lip just to give a little bit of a fuller lip, and then just make the chin and the bridge of the nose stand out just a little bit more. Next, I go in with my regular foundation brush and I'm blending that out. If you like a sponge, we actually have the Perfect Blender sponge available at tpfcosmetics.com, but I prefer a brush. And so I'm going in and just blending that out, kind of just soft patting motions. And then as I blend the bridge of the nose, I want to kind of get the sides and not necessarily right on top of it. So it just has a little bit of a softer blend. To contour, I'm using our same Picture Perfect foundation, but this time in the shade Y12. And I'm going right below the cheekbones. Make sure I go all the way back to the ear. I'm going to go right below the chin, kind of along the jawline a little bit, and then down the throat. And underneath my bottom lip, that's actually going to create a little bit of a fuller lip. Around the hairline, just to warm it up a little bit. And I'm using my concealer brush here again, so I have a little bit more precision. And then we'll also get the nose. Now I like to have a little bit of a button nose, so I create that little V at the bottom and then that line across the top, and that creates that look for me. Everyone's nose is different, so to each their own. And then I'm gonna go in and blend. So this brush is completely clean. If you see me kind of dabbing down below, I'm just wiping it off onto a paper towel. There's nothing on it. I just wanna keep it clean and I just keep wiping it off. So if you notice around the hairline, I'll kind of scoot it back and forth, working it back into the hair so you don't see any lines. And then underneath the cheekbone, I'm always going to work it up. Make sure you're wiping your brush off in between And then I just keep working it up, up, up onto the edge of the cheekbone. Also kind of blend it out underneath. And then for the nose, I actually go in a little bit more delicately. Again, I want a little precision here. Don't want it to look sloppy, and I want to keep those lines. I just want them to look a lot more faded. Always working the brush just kind of back and forth. Here we're going to go in with our Cream Puff Loose Powder, and I'm not packing the brush with a ton of product. I'm just using enough to kind of go in and set it. I am using my flat foundation brush here with very little powder on the brush, just enough to set the foundation and keep that highlight. Next, I'm going to use Almond Tart Loose Powder on the rest of my face. So basically anywhere where I did not set with Cream Puff, we're going to be setting our Y8 foundation with Almond Tart. Medium contour is the same color that I used in my crease of my eye earlier, and now we're going to go back in and add just a little more contour on the face with that shade. Beach Baby Blush is gorgeous, especially for summer. And so I'm going in just right on the tip of my cheekbones, keeping it really high. And then we're going to give a little extra glow with our Queen Shimmer pigment, and we used that shade earlier on the eyes. Next, we're going to perfect those brows. And I'm using Morning Fog eyeshadow with our liner brow brush. I kind of draw a little line at the bottom and then feather up, draw another line at the top, and then I'll dip into more product and draw another line from the arch to the tail end of the brow. Now this is a very structured brow look and not necessarily something I would do for every day. Next, because I want the lips to stay really neutral, I'm using a liner called Sand. And it's more of kind of a brown nude color. It doesn't have a whole lot of pink to it. Stripped lipstick is what I went on top with, and then kind of topped that with Creme Fraiche. And then we pulled our hair up for the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed.